Hello and welcome to the big picture. The unprecedented debacle of the Congress party in these elections has resulted in severe criticism from both within and outside the party about the role of leaders. So much so that both Congress President Sonia Gandhi and its Vice President Rahul Gandhi offered to resign from their posts. However, its highest decision-making body, the Congress Working Committee, has summarily rejected their offers. The extent of the humiliating defeat is clear from the fact that the party has ended with the lowest vote share ever, with just 19.3%. Another indicator which should cause serious concern is that out of the 464 candidates the party had fielded, 178 candidates have lost their deposit, which means 2 out of every 5 candidates have failed to secure their deposit. The party has won just 44 seats. Who is responsible for such a pathetic performance? Can the party afford not to fix accountability for this debacle? Without anyone being held accountable, will the party be able to revive itself? All these questions crop up even as the BJP with its unprecedented performance is poised to form the government. We will discuss all this today with Prof. Zoya Hasan, political analyst and former professor at the Center for Political Studies, JNU, Surya Prakash, senior journalist and columnist, Sachidananda Murthy, resident editor of The Week magazine. Welcome to all of you. Zoya, this kind of a performance and if there is no accountability fixed, what will happen to the party? How will they be able to even analyze what the problem is? Do you think that this party is capable of fixing accountability on anybody?
Well, I think it's important to take responsibility and accountability. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the president of the Congress and the vice president must resign. I think they have offered to resign, which was important. I suppose the Congress Working Committee, I think, probably rightly decided that this is not the moment to accept their resignation, because that would create even greater disarray in Congress ranks. I think right now the Congress has to certainly reorganize. Because it is facing an existential crisis, a structural crisis, an organizational crisis, not to speak of a leadership crisis, because clearly it is not just a rejection of the Congress, but it's a rejection of the leadership of the Congress and the kind of leadership that they have provided. So, and this kind of unprecedented, crushing defeat, it will take the Congress a very long time to recover from this, not the least because, not the least because 1977 and 1989 and 2014 are very different. Above all, the Congress faces a very formidable opponent, the BJP and the RSS, which have at their disposal an ideology as well as an organization and cadre.
And now a leader also.
A leader as well, of course. And the Congress seems to be short on almost all of these fronts.
Surya Prakash, you think the Congress party can fix responsibility, somebody should take accountability? I mean, is it in their DNA to do anything like this?
No, the thing is, the entire party revolves around the Nehru-Gandhi family.
Right.
This is the first point. The Nehru-Gandhi family is the glue, you see, that binds the party together.
Right.
So anyone who says Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi must take responsibility and quit, then what? They want the Congress to wind up or what? I'm on a different track now. Yes. What I feel is, I'll give you some examples. Take Kamal Nath.
Right.
From 1980 till now, he has won 9 Lok Sabha elections. He did not contest 1996 because his wife stood in for him at that time.
Right.
So technically, he has won 10 Lok Sabha elections continuously. He ought to be the High Command of Congress. People like him. Why is Rahul Gandhi for 10 rungs above him? Why is there no Shivraj Chauhan in the Congress? Why is there no Raman Singh? This is what they need to fix. The Nehru-Gandhis can preside over the party, but please, can Rahul Gandhi come stand alongside Sachin Pilot, Kamal Nath, Jyotiraditya Scindia. There are a lot of brilliant people there.
Absolutely. Sachi?
How come? So if you want the Congress to revive, this is one way of doing it. I don't think if you can exclude the family from the Congress. That is a impractical thing.
Impractical thing, Sachi?
Yeah, I know, because you are right.
The family, the Gandhis are the ones which holds the party together. They are the glue. But can there be some kind of a radical relook at the whole thing, as Prakash is suggesting?
No, the Congress party, whenever it didn't have the Nehru-Gandhis at its command, has suffered. So the congressmen feel, you have to look at the Congress mentality and what the outside world thinks of that mentality. So the congressmen say that we kept losing badly under two Congress presidents, Narasimha Rao and then Sitaram Kesari. Then the Gandhi family has come back, and now in private they will all criticize that Rahul Gandhi was bad, Sonia Gandhi was disinterested, Manmohan Singh let us down. But when it comes to a crunch situation, it has happened when Sharad Pawar and Sangma and Tariq Anwar revolted. It happened when the Office of Profit case. Right. They just, in a crisis time, they cling around the Gandhi family. So that has happened once again. They have not gone for any introspection so far. You look at the other smaller parties. Nitish Kumar has accepted responsibility, resigned. Mulayam Singh, at least he has sacked 36 people, Akhilesh Yadav, minister. And even Jayalalitha and Mamata, who won, poor fellows, one or two constituencies, those party secretaries and others, ministers have been sacked. But Congress will not do it. Congress says, we'll take our own steps and all that.
Zoya, the thing is that even when they take these steps, we have seen this happening in the past also. Whenever there has been a debacle, in the last 15 years, there have been committees set up. These committees go into all these things, come out with reports. Nobody knows what is in those reports because those reports never get circulated or publicized. And then everything is back in action, back to square one, and then they win one election, and then everything is forgotten, and they think that they are back in action. You think that kind of an attitude needs to change now?
I think business as usual will simply not do, because this defeat is an extraordinary defeat. The Congress is down to 44 seats.
Right.
And as you said it, of the 460 seats that they contested, the Congress candidates have lost their deposit in 178 seats. Secondly, the 46 candidates who have won, 44 who have won by a very narrow margin, which means, and number three, and most importantly, the Congress vote share is the lowest ever. 19% is very, very low. Of course, the BJP's vote share is not huge; it's 31%. But that's a separate
11%
issue.
11% has made all the difference.
11% in a first-past-the-post system has translated into such a huge difference. So I think business as usual will not do, and it's absolutely clear that something very radical will have to be done. And it will simply not do to appoint a committee of introspection, because the Congress has appointed many committees of introspection in the past. Sonia Gandhi herself has appointed 3 major committees in the last 12 or 13 years that she's been the president.
Right.
But the recommendations of almost none of those committees have been implemented. So what the Congress needs right now is clearly, very serious rethink about its strategy, about its organization. I hope the Congress will not rethink its ideology, because now is the time for the Congress to actually consolidate itself as a left of center force against a clear right-wing party.
Do you think that the Congress...
So somebody like Kamal Nath, if I may say so, and the kind of critique that he made in his interview 2-3 days ago, that it's the rights-based legislation and all of this which is responsible for it. No, I don't think that is necessarily the way forward. But certainly the Congress has to change this dynastic, centralized structure of the party. The Congress has to allow and encourage state leaders, because that's very, very important. Even as I think one of your panelists just said, that even if the Nehru-Gandhi family were to stay at the top, and clearly they are likely to stay at the top, not because they are so necessarily so keen. I think the Congress party itself is keen on their continuing at the top. But that should still not preclude the encouraging and providing space for state leaders.
Prakash, now what Zoya is saying is something very sensible, but it is
Yeah.
easier said than done. Congress as a party, Congress structure, the structure of the party, which we have been seeing for decades now. This will have to be, there is one coterie, everybody talks of a coterie which completely controls access to the top leaders also, and there is, this is where the problem, in the last couple of days, some of the analysts have seen that this coterie, these vested interests which are around the leaders, they are the ones responsible. Is it easy? You have been seeing this party, you have known this party closely for more than 4 decades. Is it easy to get rid of these vested interests and the coteries? Prakash? Sachi, the same question to you. We'll get back to
always this argument in the Congress is, look, these are the people who are there around us in good time, gave us good advice. We did so many good things with them. Now is it the time to throw them out? We can't use them and throw them. So that kind of thing comes. And also, I think the leadership is more comfortable with such people, especially on organization. Now look at Ahmed Patel. I mean, he has been controlling the destiny of the party's organizational decisions for a long time. But he will continue to be the political secretary. And again, the same set of general secretaries and others. So I think Sonia Gandhi is again a person who is very comfortable with the familiar people. Rahul is again comfortable with his
own familiar
people.
Who are not familiar to the others.
So it's this thing.
And
so
we're
you
not
can't
familiar
expect
with the people of India.
and even to, as Professor said, about a left of the center, this thing to be taken up. Now they did that.
No,
After all, last 2 years.
Such 1 minute. My question is, Zoya says, left of center. Have they been left of center?
No, they have been left of center, especially if you look at the land acquisition law.
No, that is on one side. On the other
security,
side, on the other side, there has been a neoliberal or liberal policies, conservative policies being, there are two different streams.
See, that's what
they
were pulling the Congress apart. Yes. One side, Kamal Nath, Chidambaram, Anand Sharma, and others. The other side, Jairam Ramesh, Kishore Chandradev, and others. So. And then finally the Congress did not present a cohesive picture of its own ideological strengths. That's what happened.
Ideological, where was the ideological? Did they show their ideology at all? Did it come out in such a fashion that people of this country could decide between the ideology and what was being propagated by the BJP and Congress? Was there a clear-cut ideological approach towards these elections at all?
You're quite right. As far as the Congress is concerned and their strategies are concerned, I don't think there was such a clear-cut ideology. And if there was, they surely didn't present it. But I think in popular perception, however, the two parties, the BJP and the Congress, are perceived differently.
Right.
Those who were supporting the BJP were doing so because it was perceived to be a business-friendly, market-friendly, right-wing party. Those who were supporting the Congress did see it as a centrist, left-of-center party, even though you're quite right in saying that, and that is typical of the Congress, that it's a mix. It's a mix of, if you will, pro-market as well as welfarist party. But in popular perception, I think it was seen to be left of center. But if I may add to what you're saying, I think the basic difficulty is that the Congress did not really seriously, didn't seem to have put up a serious fight. And now, when it's been so badly defeated, it doesn't look like they are seriously really tackling it. Although it must be said, to be fair, that it is only about 72 hours and it will take time for the defeat to sink in. Now, we can't expect, as the media seems to be expecting, that in 72 hours an introspection would have been completed and they would have a roadmap for recovery. It doesn't happen that fast. But somehow that said, one is getting the impression that just as they did not take the campaign seriously, they don't seem to be taking the defeat
seriously. Surya Prakash, do you also get that feeling that they are not Zoya says that they didn't seem to have taken the campaign seriously, and now they don't seem to be taking the defeat seriously. Do you also get that feeling?
No, you're not getting such
I think there's a problem there. Before that, we will need to go into a very short break now. Please keep watching. We'll come back and continue this discussion. Welcome back. We are discussing the crisis in the Congress. Now we are joined in by another guest, Rahul Verma, a research fellow at the CSDS and a political scientist. Rahul, welcome. Rahul, my question to you is, we are discussing the crisis in Congress. You have done some work on this recently. Today there is an article published by you. You say that it will be very difficult for Congress to recover from this. Why do you say this?
So Professor Pradeep Chibbar and I offer 5 reasons for it. One, so this is not just about 2014 elections that Congress and its leader weren't campaigning or they are not taking the defeat seriously. There are 5 reasons this defeat is structural. It was in making for many, many years. So first, the defeat in 2014 is lot like 77 and 89. This time, 178 candidates of Congress. 2 in every 5 candidates lost the deposit. 105 candidates polled less than 5%, right? So that's the scale of the defeat.
Right.
Second, Congress faces an organizational challenge. An organizational challenge meaning in 4 states that accounts for 201 seats, Congress has not been in power for 25 years.
Right.
Then there are 4 or 5 other states like Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, where Congress has not been in power for 15 years. Right? So they're kind of virtually not present at the state level because state level power gives a kind of oil to your machinery.
Absolutely.
Right? And third, there is a coterie around Congress, the first family, that has its own vested interest in keeping leaders with mass base out. Right? So Jagan Mohan Reddy. Politics is a full-time profession. If you will not allow local leaders to rise up in the hierarchy, they are going to leave and form a new political party. And the biggest problem, so Congress has 66 ministers in the UPA too. More than 50% of them were never elected to a state assembly or were in the state cabinet. So they don't have state level experience. They do not understand the murkiness in Indian politics. This is the Doon School and St. Stephen Club dominating how the Congress should be run. And that's the big challenge.
These are devastating statistics what he is giving.
Yes.
Almost 300 seats, he says. Congress has not been in power for the last more than 15 years or more.
Yes.
And with that kind of a situation, this is something which the Congress party has not worked on even in the last 10 years that they have been in power at the center, right?
Yes.
That is where the problem lies.
See, occasionally the Congress will say, no, we'll go it alone in Tamil Nadu.
Right.
We'll rebuild the party, come whatever it may be. Then they will say, we'll go it alone in Uttar Pradesh, we'll rebuild the party, we'll do something. Now we are hearing the same thing every day. But then the problem is, the Congress has not encouraged strong regional leaders to come up. For example, look at Uttar Pradesh. It has been depending on Jagadambika Pal, who just before this election defeated for a long time, Pramod Tiwari, Narendra Tiwari, Bahuguna family. It is also at the lower level, some families have been controlling. The Patnaiks of Orissa have controlled. I've heard Srikant Jaina, who doesn't belong to, he was saying that please allow younger leaders to come up, new leaders to come up in Orissa. It is not happening. So that is a problem. The coterie is not just those around Sonia Gandhi and Rahul in Delhi, but there are a lot of coteries at all levels.
Coterie at all levels.
At all levels.
I think we have Surya Prakash back. Surya Prakash, can you hear us?
Yes, I am now back.
Okay. So, Prakash,
Yeah.
Prakash, my question is, we have been talking about the structural problems of the Congress party and how structurally it has been so weak and nothing has been done. But part of the reason for these structural defects in the party is also the vested interests which have surrounded the leaders for all through the post-independent, at least in the last 30, 40 years. These vested interests and coteries around it. Is that the problem with the Congress party? And is it easy to dismantle that structure at all?
It is easy to do that. No Democrat in India today is happy to see the Congress in this state. So the Congress has to recover. Now the question is how it should recover. As I said, will please Rahul Gandhi stand alongside Kamal Nath, Sachin Pilot and others? The other, that means allow state leadership to grow. Now suppose you had given Kamal Nath a free hand who has won his Lok Sabha seat for 10 times. Would he not be another Shivraj Chauhan or Raman Singh?
Right.
Why do you stifle leadership in the state? So you have to give autonomy to the states. You have to allow them to flourish. Secondly, this coterie thing you are talking about.
Right.
You must rid the high command of RSS. You know what RSS is?
No.
Rajya Sabha seekers. Please, you have to get them out. You have to get the Rajya Sabha seekers out. The Kamal Nath, Sachin Pilots, Siddharamayas who win elections, make them the high command. Any party will grow. That is what BJP has done. Congress has to learn from BJP. Just as BJP is learning from Congress, don't you hear the inclusive talk in the last 1 week
Right.
from BJP? Are you not hearing?
Right.
Congress must learn, and it's pathetic. It's dropped to 19%.
Right. The lowest
Also, Girish, I must tell you, in 4 states where there are 200 Lok Sabha seats, Congress has less than 10% vote.
Absolutely. That's what
It is a very disturbing thing.
Rahul Verma, from the CSDS, who has done this study, was just letting us know about this devastating state of affairs where Congress has not been in power, where there are 300 Lok Sabha seats are there. Congress has not been in power for more 15 years or more than that. So, Zoya,
and once it loses, it cannot recover. It goes to 3rd, 4th place.
Absolutely. So, things are really, this is the worst crisis the Congress party seems to have ever faced. Do you think that the dynastic issue is not an issue? That's why, all of us seem to have agreed that whatever...
Girish,
Yes.
Girish, I will tell you.
Yes.
No, Girish.
Yes.
The dynasty is not an issue. Mrs. Sonia Gandhi's son must stand alongside other leaders.
Is that a problem?
Put them at par. Everything will get sorted out.
Okay. Is it possible to put them at par, Zoya?
No,
Just because somebody has a Gandhi surname, वो ऊपर बिठा के वो नहीं होगा जी.
Okay.
You see, the Congress is not a stranger to crisis. In its very long history, it has faced many crises. And it has been able to overcome those crises as well. So I think you cannot write off the Congress. Congress obituary has been written many times only for the Congress to rise again. However, this is a different context. This is a different polity, it's a different economy.
That is why the question which we are asking today in this program is, can they fix accountability? Can they make somebody accountable for some of these things, so that that should get people going?
I think they should definitely fix accountability and responsibility, but that doesn't necessarily translate into resignations. That if you fix responsibility, it means one, two should resign, because I think there is a multiple crisis that faces the Congress. Now, what about, if you say communication was a problem, then Ajay Markan was in charge of communication, then he must also resign. There are just so many different levels.
Absolutely.
Where
Sachin, this is the problem with them, that whom do they, when you absolve the top 2 leaders who are actually responsible, then how can you hold anybody else responsible?
That's why they've been using this phrase, it is a collective responsibility.
Collective responsibility.
And then when it becomes collective responsibility,
it is nobody's responsibility.
No accountability collectively. But also the other issue here is, when I was talking to the man, Zoya was telling about 3 reports. The man who headed the 3 committees, there was only one man, he was telling me, we are in for some turbulence, but turbulences will pass. So there's this also, there's this thing that there's an upside and downside to our fortune. Now we are on the downside, and it will turn into an upside as time goes.
In fact, 5 years back, I was looking at some of the reports on the day after the results came in 2009. These kind of problems were being faced by the BJP.
Yes.
Similar problems, because second time they had lost, but they took corrective action.
But may I just, sorry to interrupt you, see, there's one very basic difference between the Congress and the BJP, and that is that the BJP when it was down and out in 1984, soon thereafter it launched the Ayodhya Ram Janambhoomi movement from 1986-87 onwards, culminating in, of course, the demolition of the Babri Masjid in 1991. So BJP actually there was mass mobilization.
Mass mobilization, whether
Now,
we
the
like it or
Congress
not,
has
whether
become
it's
a
right or
stranger
absolutely
to mass mobilization.
Absolutely.
That is a fundamental problem. I
Yes,
don't
Rahul.
think we should
So-
just put the whole blame on leadership. Leadership is an
Girish.
issue, but even more
I'm
important.
coming to you, Prakash, one
but
minute.
even
Girish.
more
I'm
important
coming to you, I'm coming to you, wait.
is the absence of mass mobilization.
Absolutely. Yes,
Two quick
Rahul?
points. One, I agree with Professor Hasan, like half of it. Yes, Congress obituary have been written many times and Congress came back. But this time, the thing is going to be harder.
Well,
See,
I made that point before you
1989
came
was a
in.
critical election. For 25 years, so 67 was a critical election. The Congress system fall apart, bipolarity in the state began. In 89, second critical election. After that, Congress was not the reference point of
Absolutely.
elections.
Absolutely.
2014, Congress is not been going to be taken even
Okay.
into account.
Prakash, very quick, last words to you. Prakash?
Yeah. Last word is when the patient needs a full body scan, you are bringing tiger balm. वो नहीं चलेगा. You have to look at it fully, empower all states, empower all the people who can bring the votes. Today the dynasty can't bring the vote. In Indira Gandhi's time, Nehru's time, they got 45% vote in national election.
Okay.
Today Rahul can't bring more than 10% vote.
Okay.
Therefore,
It's not
get
just
the-
about
get the
dynasty.
state
See,
leaders who will bring in votes, aggregate it.
Okay.
See, the problem is not the leadership. The problem is Congress does not have a distinct policy position from Trinamool, from BSP, from Aam Aadmi Party.
Absolutely.
Congress
I think that is where I think we will all agree on that there is, as Zoya right from the beginning pointed out, it has an ideological problem, it has a structural problem, and
Existential.
and an existential crisis also.
It's very
They are facing
survival is at
its whole
stake.
survival at stake. How it will be able to overcome this is something we'll all have to wait and watch. There are no quick fix solutions. There are many solutions which have been discussed here today. Hopefully some of them will be taken into account, and we will see, because as Surya Prakash rightly says, Congress is a party which needs to be there in this country for to have a proper democratic system and a good, strong opposition. Thanks to all my guests, A. Surya Prakash, Rahul Verma, Sachidananda, Murthy, and Prof. Zoya, Hasan. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on Big Picture, same time tomorrow.